nation, we have to work harder than ever before to win the colossal victory for America.
We have an army of digital soldiers.
Wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
Buckle up, America. Get ready for the facts based on the stone cold truth with your host, Jonathan Barber.
All right, welcome in everybody to the JIT Report special edition, September 1st, 2021. So I have some great news to share with you guys. In this day and age, it's hard to get some good news out there, but all the dogs in Afghanistan are now going to be taken care of by the Taliban. So they're not killed and they are not being slaughtered. And so that's some great news. I know, being a dog lover myself, it was absolutely heartbreaking to watch over the last few days what we saw in Afghanistan and Kabul. And our last guest, Michael Yan, has done a lot of work in helping people. Tonight, we're going to feature a really good friend of mine that I have had the pleasure to get to know, doing great work with the APE Army, AMC Marine. And he is was in the Army, the Marine Corps in E5. And I would like to welcome AMC Marine in. AMC Marine, how we doing tonight?
We're doing good. Thank you for having me on, Clock. It's good to see you, sir, and talk with you.
Yeah, I'm really excited and interested to hear your perspective on what it's like being a vet, to see our soldiers left behind enemy lines and civilians and allies. Give us a rundown on a little bit about your background and when you served. Of course, obviously, an E5 sergeant in the Marine Corps. What was your MOS? And give us a rundown of your military experience.
Yeah, so I was originally a 2531. I went in 97. So I actually got out 2001 and spent 4 years in there in the Corps, became an E5 sergeant. I was a communications, I was the grunt with the radio on your back. You know, the guy standing next to the officer with a 3-foot antenna that said, "Hey, here I am." That was me, just a grunt with a radio on my back. So it was good times. It was one of the best things I did, you know, as a young man. It gave me somewhere to go. I think it got a little bit of the head on my shoulders, taught me some good discipline, some great integrity, and I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed being there and I enjoyed serving. And, I just found out after 4 years, it just wasn't for me. I knew there was something bigger and greater I was going to go on and do. But, and I was stationed in San Diego, well, basically Camp Pendleton. I say San Diego, people are familiar with that. But I was in Camp Pendleton, kind of got, I hate to say, stuck there, blessed to be there for 4 years. So I didn't get to actually go over to like Japan or, like that with other, other guys would get shipped off, other gals. But that's a little bit of my, military background.
So you did 4 years. You probably were meritoriously promoted twice, I would think, and to make E5 in 4 years. Is that correct?
Well, no. So, I was a good Marine. I really was. I could shoot. I could run like the wind. And so we had, you basically had your time in rank, time in service. And so each step and level that you got, you could pick up your rank. And I just made damn sure when I did my job, I followed the direction and did the absolute best I could. And I was able to score, basically get the points you needed in the time period that it took. And so I technically was able, I think it was 3 years, just over 3 years that I was able to pick up E5. I didn't do it meritoriously. I just did it at my exact times, and that was basically just doing what I was told, to be a good Marine. So I accomplished it that way.
Yeah, I want to play your minute, with Bannon if I could, and then we'll get into a little bit about what your thoughts are on these current atrocities and it's just the straight out debacle by our administration and our top flag officers in general. So this was you, I believe, yesterday on Bannon. Let's have a listen.
Yeah.
AMC Marine, is Colonel Scheller a hero to you guys?
He's willing to stand up and speak out. You know, it's kind of like even in the Ape Nation, one of the reasons I love it is because it gives people an opportunity to speak up for what they believe in. And that's what we need more of. And so for me and a lot of us veterans to see a lieutenant colonel first and foremost, I mean, I was just a sergeant, but to see a lieutenant colonel stand up like that and to say the things and have the cojones to do that, I'm impressed. And sir, I'm here waiting for you at any given moment because I'm the type that wants to speak up too. And people need to. We need to speak up. We need to use our voices. We need to let them know that this is not okay. And I am proud of what he did, but I will say this. I sent a video out, and this is making me very nervous to even say it, but I would not, parents, I would not let your children join the military right now under these commanders, under these people in charge. I would not want to have nothing to do with it. I have a 20-year-old son. I would not let my kids join, not like this. And I'm a proud Marine. I am a man of integrity. But what has happened is not okay, and it's drawn me back in big time. I've been fighting for financial literacy. That's my heart, and I will continue to fight for financial literacy. I will continue to encourage you to get out from under debt and to start investing in yourself and for us to take down the Wall Street cronies. But at the same time, what's happened, what we're seeing happen over in Afghanistan and the deaths we're seeing, enough's enough, man. We have got to use our voices, and I encourage you all to do that.
Enough is enough. And I couldn't agree more with you, AMC Marine. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts on what you saw. And you know, it's time to start speaking out, no doubt about it. But what would you recommend for people to do? I mean, in that clip right there, we already heard you say that you wouldn't have your kids go into the military right now. I'm going to challenge that a little bit, and I'm going to let you respond, but I'm going to challenge that a little bit because I think we need patriots in the military, as bad as it may be right now. But go ahead, give us your perspective on what you saw over there and talk a little bit about maybe some advice for people out that are maybe struggling.
Yeah. So like, you know, it's so hard, you know, I was trying to explain on Bannon. I know I get a little bit more time with you and I made some videos and, you know, I didn't serve over there. I had lost a friend that did. I know people that did. I got out September 29, 2001, and I absolutely inside beat myself up because I wanted to go. I just had a baby and I had friends that went, and it's a part of me that's like, I never got to go. I wasn't there with them. Which, you know, people are like, it's a good thing you didn't, right? And I don't want to say that it's not, but, you know, I guess they call it survivor's guilt, whatever you want to call it. But it really hit home to me to watch, and I'm connected with a bunch of veterans, and to hear some of them and to hear their pain in their hearts, the pain in their minds. Like, you know, I don't know if folks really understand what's going through a veteran's head if they're not a veteran, or even probably an active service member, because I have some active service members I know as well. And it's like, I hate to compare it to this, but just think of like you're put into this game, a sports game, the football or whatever it is. You're put in this game, you're told that you're the best team that is, especially the Marine Corps. I mean, we've technically never lost a battle, right? I mean, when it really boils down to it, we're like the best of the best, right? I mean, that's beat into our head. And so you're told that you're the best. You're told that you never lose. You're going to win. You always win. And you got this longest battle. And you go through it, you get out, you've done your time, you've got family or brothers, sisters that are still there, and so on and so on. And everybody's playing, you know, and I hate to use the word playing, but everybody's in this long, continuous battle that in their hearts, they know they're doing it for a good cause because they were told they were. You know, they signed up to represent their country, to put their hearts and souls out to it. And so they believe that, yes, we're undefeatable. We are winning. We are doing a good thing. We're helping these folks. And so this is what's going through their head. And then, you know, we come to a conclusion. Yeah, look, I'm going to say it too. We don't want to be there. We don't think that we should be there either. If you talk to a lot of vets, they're going to say, look, we didn't want to be there for 20 years. A lot of guys thought they were going to go there for 6 months and be out, just like Desert Shield had happened. No one expected to be there for 20 plus years. And none of us vets are like, hey, let's be there. Let's keep all of our people there. Let's continue to risk our lives. I want to get that off the table.
I don't think it was ever a question that we didn't want to be there permanently. It was a matter of how we get out. And it was a condition-based withdrawal under Trump, and the conditions weren't met, so you don't withdraw. And so I think, you hit it right on the head. I mean, nobody expected to be over there 20 years, but do you think we're in a world of, now that we've gotten out this way, the $85 billion of equipment and all of the spoilage that we left over there, does that not just eat away at you like it does me?
Well, yes. And so that's what I was kind of leading to. So like, you got this long game and you're like, you're the best. And then it goes down like it did. And then you lose players. You lose. I hate using that word, but you lose your brothers and sisters. I've been out 20 years, but they're still my damn brothers and sisters. And you find out that you lose them. They die out of something so ridiculous because the way it was handled. And then you get just yanked out of there in such a way. And just, I mean, if you look at the videos, I know you shared them with me. We'll see those again, but you just look at the way, hurry up and wait, get the hell out, threw everything everywhere. I mean, it just looked like a cluster effing mess and just too much. And these people screaming and hollering and stuck at the airport, everybody's trying to escape. I mean, it literally made it look like America, after all these years, just left it, abandoned, hightailed it. Hey, thank you very much. We tried. We spent 20 years. We killed people. We spent billions and billions of dollars. But we out here. Keep all this crap. We suck. We lost. We're no good. And then it just makes it worse when the people die, and then you see them go in celebrating and they won. It's a big victory. It's like, I was not in politics. I got myself out of politics because I'm an Ape Nation. I hate politics. I come to hate it. I didn't want nothing to do with it. I love the Ape Nation because we didn't focus on politics. But this hit home so bad to me that I came roaring back like, just, this is ridiculous. Because the way I was taught, especially in the military, or the way I was taught as a leader, as I've always been, is you take accountability for your leadership. If you make a decision, you take accountability for it. And it just seems like they're not taking accountability for it. Biden's full of crap when he says the buck stops here. Okay, yeah, all right, the buck stops there. What is that supposed to mean? Like, there was lives cost, this equipment left behind. I know we make a big deal about the equipment, but they're driving our vehicles, and they say they're not. They are. They have our equipment. And what does that look like? It just makes all of us veterans that thought we were the best look like we're not. And it just took my history of being out. I'm this proud United States Marine. People say that's the roughest, toughest, hardest service out of them all. And we lost 13 people, 12 of them Marines, and just like that, like, yeah, it's
infuriating. And they were a part of a psychological operations brigade outside the fence. We're getting reports now that Biden knew through back channels with the Taliban that attack was imminent, and that the Taliban was going to escort and let the people in. We've got Michael Yan reporting and with John Solomon in Just the News with an exclusive that I'm going to go over in just a minute. In that we got people to the gate, and our own State Department, our own military wouldn't let them board. So speaking of the vehicles, let's have a look at their nice little military parade today.
قران يواديكم نخلاص دبدرنګ له اشغال ورپ ساری کړپناز د حریت.
So yeah, they're flying our UH-60 Blackhawks with the white Taliban flag. They're rolling through the streets with all of our equipment, our vehicles, a lot of our APCs. They've got tens of thousands of our M4s and M203 grenade launchers. They got millions of rounds of 5.56 and 7.62. So, you know, they've got 85%. They've got more Blackhawks than 85% of all the other countries. And how are they able to fly these? Who's flying them? So now Taliban can fly helicopters.
We were told they weren't. I swear they was. I don't know. Was it Blinken or somebody? There's so much out there. I try not to watch it, and there's so much going on. But weren't we told that they're not supposed to be able to fly anything, and most of the stuff's supposed to be non-operational? Or was that just the stuff that they left at the airport, and they're trying to avoid the fact of all the other equipment back at the bases and everywhere else? Like, I look, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, okay? But like, it just reeks of like plan. Like it was planned. Like, okay, here, we're going to follow through, folks, Taliban. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull out. We're going to get our people out of there, and it's all yours now. You can have everything. I mean, it's almost like a back channel deal. I don't know. Maybe call me a conspiracy theorist, but it just don't make no sense. Like, you don't just fall apart that fast, that quick, and that, you know, the president over there flies out and everything just happens the way it did. And then we just hightail it out of there. Like, we look like a dog with its tail between its legs. I mean, I'm sorry. Look, if you're listening right now, or you're going to be listening, or whatever the case may be, and you're an American, tell me for a second in your heart, if you love our country, you are not burning inside. You don't even have to be a veteran. Just think about it. We're supposed to be this great country, the world's 911 force that goes in, and we're supposed to be helping people. And we literally, after 20 years, just said, okay, here you go, Taliban. You're supposed to be terrorists, but we're going to work with you now. We're going to give you everything, and here's our equipment. And like, and the word is, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know because I don't dig deep enough, but supposedly we've got $7 billion of their money that was tied up that they don't have access to. I'm going to say it right now because I read it somewhere. If that's all true and how that works, mark my words, they're going to get that money back. There's going to be a way that Biden figures out how to give them that money back. So we literally look like God, I don't even want to use the word. We just look like losers.
It's definitely un-American. There's actually reports coming out of the Pentagon today that we're going to be working with the Taliban to fight ISIS. And I'm not really a conspiracy theorist either, but I don't trust anything that our government puts out. All you have to do is pay attention to see that that's obviously not the case. I mean, you got Blinken on yesterday talking about how the equipment is not going to be a damage to the neighboring countries or Americans. Well, let me think. 7.62 and 5.56 rounds in the tens of millions with 70,000 firearms. And the thing that really has me worried is all the Simtex and the C4 that was left behind, because we know that they're capable of bomb-making skills. That's what they've been doing for decades. So it's just a straight-up lie. They just lie straight to your face. I've got clips from Biden where he talks about, everything's under control. Everything's under control. They won't overthrow, whatever. It's just all. Was it 30
days before? Mark my words, they're not going to overthrow the country. I don't see a time anytime soon that they're going to be overrun the country. That was 30 days ago or something?
Yeah. And so look, to get to your point, which I'll go ahead and say it. I'll go ahead and say it. This was planned. There is no way that people could be this incompetent. And this was planned. This was set up. There was actually a bunch of munitions and different types of gear, ammo, weapons that were dropped off in July to the ANA. So this thing stinks and reeks to high heavens. And I can't imagine these leaders would be this incompetent. It had to be on purpose. And you start looking and digging at some of this. We sent the CIA clandestinely to meet with the Taliban in the days and the weeks leading up to this. And so I think there will be more to come out. Quick question. Should Biden be impeached, or should he be court-martialed?
Well, I don't know about the whole legality of the court-martial. I read something on that. Look, the dude just needs to go. I don't care. Like, he's been in office for, 50 years or whatever. Like, the guy falls asleep all the time. I mean, come on, man. Like, you really want your leader? Hold on a second. Like, you really okay with your leader of your country, supposed to be the greatest country in the damn world, up on a stage reading off a piece of paper saying he's allowed to talk to? Like, he can't even comprehend, like, hey, I'm supposed to talk to this person. This is the newscaster. He couldn't even remember names of anybody. I mean, there's so many examples, guys. Come on. I know you hated the former president, and I know, like, most people out there that voted opposite. But come on, man. Like, he needs to go. Like, he needs to get out of there. Like, it just isn't working. That decision that was made was absolutely horrible. I don't even know that he made it. We all say he's a puppet, and I believe that. I think that decision came somewhere else. And I think Milley and Blinken, if your stomach doesn't turn when you hear that guy talk, like, my stomach literally turns inside of me. Like, I just can't watch it. I have to turn it off because I don't know what it is. There's something about him. But those guys, they need to resign too. They need to be out of there. You know what? And it's not working, man. We need them gone.
All right. So I got to ask you about Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller. Before I ask you about it, let me get to the short video, and then we'll get your reaction to it.
Hey everybody, Lieutenant Colonel Stu Scheller coming at you from an abandoned school bus in eastern North Carolina. If you know me, you know. I've been overwhelmed by the outpouring of support over the last 72 hours since I made some statements in the public. I've also really appreciated the candor and the opposition, the people who think I should have handled it differently. I think the debate is healthy, and I appreciate and respect all sides of the conversation. But after I've meditated on everything, my higher purpose, my path, the path of the Marine Corps, United States, I've come to a place where I feel at peace with making some further statements, and that's the purpose of this video. 15 years.
I'm going to skip ahead to 738.
Come in the middle of the night, and they kill the biggest targets that the United States has, and
All right, so obviously it's a 9-minute video. I'm not going to play all of it. Most of the people have seen that video by now. And so what are your thoughts on Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller? Do you think he did the right thing by resigning? Or are you like me that thinks he should have stayed in to go relieve his commanding officer of duty and go all the way up to White Rage Milley?
So that's the hard part, right? And, when you get in the service, man, there's only so much you can do. Like, honestly, like, you're in your position. Even when I was a sergeant, like, there's a brick wall. You can't get much farther. And honestly, I think what he did was probably the most powerful thing possible. Here we got an officer who has spent 17 years, mind you, okay? This isn't some kid. This isn't a butter bar that just got out of college. We're talking about someone that's been in the Corps for 17 years. We're talking about a battled, worn veteran that had decided the best impact that I can make right now for my country and for my service, the Marine Corps, the best impact I can make is run my mouth. And I want people to see it because he did. Call it a martyr, call it what you want. That man gave up his career, who he was, so that he could get the word out. And in my eyes, I believe that's why I'm carrying it on. I'm carrying it on because, look, I'm out. I've been out 20 years. What are they going to do? Fire me? You know what I'm saying? And so it ain't just me. I'm trying to fire everybody else up because I think he did the right thing by him speaking out. It's been on news. It's been on TV. Everybody's seeing it. It's forcing the American public to realize here's a officer, trained, professional. We're military Marines, okay, are supposed to be some of the best people. Understand? Supposed to be the most integritous people on the face of the planet. They will give their lives for you even if they don't know you. This man stood up to everyone, to the system, as so bad that they decided we better check his mental health. And that really bugged the crap out of me. And I'm glad he went in and he showed them. And he said, look, I'm fine. Because you know what? We're pissed off. You can check our mental health all you want because you're not going to want to. They don't want us on TV. They don't want to talk to you. I bet none of the stations are going to interview him They don't want to get any of us out there because they know the damage it's going to cause to this administration, because people in this country love their veterans. Majority of them love their veterans and appreciate their veterans because they know we will put our lives on the line for you. And that's exactly what that man just did. He just put his life on the line for you. And if I hear another person in my face tell me that he was wrong or he was a bad man or he did, he should be court-martialed and all this other crap, you better check yourself, because that man put his life on the line for his country. I'm sorry.
He gave up everything. He's got 17 years in. He's at AIT battalion commander, probably somewhere out in Lejeune. And his wife, his retirement, his reputation. Although I don't think he's going to have a problem finding work when he gets out. He's a sharp young man. He combat experienced. And the only issue that I have, and I'm nitpicking, is that I wish he would have stayed in to go and fix some of the issues. It's kind of like Michael Yon said on Monday night. He would be my first general that I would pick. Like in the old Civil War days where you had 30-year-old generals. I'd fire every single one of those flag officers, and he would be my first general that I would put in. But so I'm looking at it from the lens of what good can he do now that he's out. And under the Obama purge in 2008 to 2016, over 500 generals were relieved of command. And so there has been this purge within the upper ranks of the military. And by the time you go to command and general staff school, they corrupt you. I would think the probably colonels, lieutenant colonels, and colonels are squared away and good to go. But by the time they go to command and general staff school and get their first star, they become corrupt through the politics of being at the Pentagon or in Washington. And so that's just my thought on it. I understand where he's coming from, and I think it is a big eye-opener to a lot of people. You're kind of splitting hairs. I would have liked to see him stay in so that he could leave his commander of duty, and then they could go relieve their commander of duty, and it go all the way to White Rage Millie. So I know I'm kind of splitting hairs there, but we've only got about 15 more minutes, Mike. Reaction to that.
Real quick on that note, though, because I get it, splitting the hairs, man, because I agree with you, right? We need good people, good fighters, good ones that have it truly, the red, white, and blue runs through their blood, right? Their heart and soul. And you're absolutely right. But the other side of it is, imagine for a second that man, by that sacrifice, what he could have really opened up with the rest of some commanders, some other people. Because here's the thing with humans in society, we get afraid, especially the good folks. I'm sorry, but the good folks, the ones that we sit back and we don't want to say anything because we don't want to stir up trouble. We don't want to make a mess. My wife tells me she doesn't even like what I'm doing. She's proud, but at the same time, she's like, I thought we were just going to move to Tennessee and be a quiet family, and I'm like, no, I'm going to fight for what I believe in, babe. I'm a fighter. And so please look at it that way. He probably opened up the souls and the hearts to some more men and women in the service now that are going to see that and are going to come forward. I know it. And as we progress, and that's why I want to meet this man. I want to work with this man. I want to tour with this man. I want to throw rallies with this man, because I think between us two and whoever else and our voices, we can start to change a lot of things. So I'm proud of him, and I get where you're coming from, but just think he might have opened up 10 more of him that we would have never saw.
I agree with you, and I feel so bad for him that there's no telling the heaviness on his heart, to have to make that decision. From all aspects, from what I've seen, he's a leader, he's a fighter, and he is a man of integrity. And those are the kind of people that we need in leadership billets. And it's unfortunate. I think of the incident with Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Lohmeyer. He's the same type of guy with Space Force out in Colorado. He writes a book on Marxism and the damaging ideology that's being shoved down his throat from his commanders with the wokeism and the CRT curriculum that they're giving to our military now. And he speaks out and he loses his command. It's the same thing. And these are probably two of the most high-profile incidents of this, but it's happening all over. It's happening through all the ranks. So just had SecDef go through Facebook post and social media post and try to determine if there's white supremacy or militia ties or any post that anybody in the military made who was in support of Trump got looked at and evaluated. I talked with a bunch of people that are still in the military, and they just deleted their social media accounts. They just said, screw it, I'm just going to delete them. So it's unfortunate that's where we are, but it's time for us to stand up and fight back. And I think you're seeing a movement across the country that we're not going to just lay down and take this anymore. And it's one of the reasons I started publicly going on these public platforms. I was just content to do what I was doing, but I just feel it's the only way for us to get the word out. The mainstream media is not going to do it. Academia is compromised. Medical and science is now compromised. So it's going to be up to us now. It's going to be up to us to report the news. It's going to be up to us to get the facts out and do the digging and do the research. And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of great people that I watch and pay attention to. And I just hope one day I can do my part. And this is the only way I know how to fight. And your appearance on Bannon really touched me, because I know we've talked offline many times, and I know it's difficult for you to take this stand because you just wanted to focus on financial literacy, just wanted to educate people on Wall Street's manipulation of the small guy. And you guys with the APE Army have been fighting like crazy, and it's so admirable. And I know you wanted to stay out of this geopolitical mess. It's just so I commend you for stepping out and saying what you said on Bannon. It really inspired me. And I want you to spend a little bit of time, and I'm going to have you back on. We're having Willis on Tuesday after Labor Day. And so Tree Killer's going, I got to get some bananas before the show so we could eat some bananas.
You gotta feed that gorilla.
That's it. So, hey, I know we don't have
earlier.
I know we don't have much time left, but just touch briefly on your work with the APE Army. What is it, and what's the mission and the goal? And the next time we get together, we're going to focus exclusively on that.
And I will, if you don't mind, Clock, there was one statement you made earlier, and I want to make sure we clarify it. You had mentioned about, my remarks about not allowing our kids to go into the service right now. From an emotional standpoint, no, under that leadership, no, I don't want to see any of our people in there, any of our kids. I don't care from the left, the right, just chill, any of our 18-year-old, 19-year-olds in general, just because of my fear that I don't trust them as leaders. However, a note on what you had stated, we need them. This country needs them. And so it's such a hard thing. That's why I said I'm nervous to even say this. Our country needs our young men and women that are proud to serve their country, that want to get in and make a difference. And I almost want to retract what I say. It's so hard because, yes, there's probably young men out there and young women right now that want to go and make a difference. They want to join. They want to see us change. And by encouraging them not to go would be an injustice. And I wouldn't want to do that to them. I make that remark because it scares me with that leadership to think that what could come next, and these poor young people that don't know any better like I didn't, just having to do their duty because that's what they believe that they're there to do. So I'm kind of torn on that, man. I really am. But I just wanted to make sure I got that out there before we move forward.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you clarifying, and I agree with you. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Yeah, we need fine people in there, but not under this leadership. I mean, are you kidding me? So my heart goes out to those 13 families. A lot of them were 20 years younger. I think most of them were very young and their whole life in front of them. And just you read these stories, these bios, and then heart just sinks. It just breaks because they didn't have to die. And it infuriates me. And I don't blame the Gold Star mothers for walking out on Biden in the meeting the other day. I don't blame them one bit. I wouldn't have met with him to begin with.
I know, right? And then to get banned off that social media stuff, I messaged her. I'm hoping I can get a hold of her too, because that broke my heart. And I just got banned off of LinkedIn. I never use it. I have like 12,000 followers on it. I posted one video on it. I think it was my banning video. And within like a few hours, I'm banned off of LinkedIn. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, what are these companies doing? I mean, I've already been banned off of Twitter once for 12 hours. Like, what's next, right? And they're gonna ban her, like. And then the crap, I'm sorry, it brings me back in. I know we want to talk about the financial side, but right now I'm being a Marine, passionate, patriot for my country. But like seriously, the stuff I heard, what they said, how he treated them, and he wants to talk about his son. Stop it, man. Nobody wants to hear about your loss. It's their loss. You are their leader in that moment. You console them. You let them know that it's okay, that you understand and you're proud of what their children did and that their children gave up their life in an honorable way. You don't sit there and think it's going to relieve them by telling them that your son died. Nothing against your son. I'm sorry your son died. But man, come on. What kind of leader does that to them? Those people are hurt and they want to blame him. Who wouldn't? And I heard one of them voted for him, if not more. Like, come on, man. So yes, that's another reason I'm fired up, because it's like, dude, I'm a leader. Okay. I've been a leader. I was a sergeant. I've ran businesses and companies. I've managed people for years. There's things you don't do. And you sure as hell don't show up to a funeral and get caught on national TV checking your phone or checking your watch. Like, come on.
A disgrace.
You got your caskets, man. You don't. That is a complete disgrace to those service people, man. I'm just like, I'm fired up because it breaks my heart, man, that this is the people we have in leadership and we're letting it happen. Our country, you're sitting in your couch right now. I hope you're proud if that's what you think is okay, because it's not. It's not okay. Okay, I'm done.
No, man, I'm fired up too. It takes all I can do. And it's time to get out in the streets and start having our voices heard. You're starting to see parents step up at school board meetings. And I think you're going to start seeing on Saturdays a lot more people trying to take back our country. This has got to stop. And I don't have the solutions. You get out there, and they're going to come after you, just like you just alluded to. Post on social media, and they take you down, and they take away your platform and your voice. And so, it's got to stop. So, all right, let's touch on go ahead.
I was just going to say, I got a video out on it. If you go to my YouTube too, if you text resist to the 50409, it's a nonprofit organization that will send emails to your state senators, Congress, or whatever. It's a start. If we're bombard these folks, I heard there's 28 Republicans already that has asked for Biden to resign. So if we keep pushing our people, and 3 of them are from my state of Tennessee, thank you very much. There's some smart people over here, right? And some of them from Texas and wherever else. But if you text to that number, it'll start the process on your phone. You can write out how you feel in there, just right there on your phone, how you feel, what needs to change, ask them to resign. And I do this for the financial literacy part and the stock market too. I've been encouraging apes to do that. But if you do that, that's a start. There's also a 188 number you can call too and do the exact same thing. You can do it by voice, or you can get their numbers. I have my video on YouTube where I actually talked to one of the people. I can't remember offhand. Sorry, I'm hyped up over something else. But I actually talked to one of their representatives in the office. I've heard of other people that got through. If we're bombarding them, there are elected officials. They want to stay elected. That means they want to take care of their base. They want to take care of the people that are going to vote for them. So you need to start bombarding them. This country needs to nail them every day with this information. And that's how you can do it. You can speak up. You can do it right from your couch. You can social distance, and you can protest via your phone. Use their technology against them. That's all I'm saying.
All right, give us the number. Too. Give us the number again. Text 05.
Text resist to 50409.
50409, and you text resist.
Yeah.
And what does that do? Is it a donation, $1.50? How much is it?
It doesn't cost you a dime. They will market you and ask you to donate because it's a nonprofit. You don't have to. It's a company called Resist Bot out of Florida. And what they do is they will respond back. It's a bot, and then it'll ask you certain questions. It's going to ask you a little bit of personal information like your name, where you're from, because they got to know what Congress to pull up or what state senator, and then you answer those questions, and then you literally write out your email, and then they create the email for you, and then they submit it straight to the senator's office or your reps. I got my responses back from my 2 here in Tennessee, so that means it went out. But it's going to take thousands beyond thousands, if not millions of these hitting them between that and phone calls. So that's an easy way to do it. And it's free. It's simple. You just text it out. Resist Bot. You can look it up. It's legit. It's a nonprofit. They're not trying to take anything from you. If you want to donate, that's on you. But you don't have to.
Outstanding. Text resist. All right. Well, I think everybody will do that. 50409. Text resist. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Give us, in the last 5 minutes that we have left, tell us about the APE Army. What is it? How can people get involved? Where can they find more information? And give us an update on where we are with AMC and GameStop and all the different stocks. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so on the other battlefront, the one that I've been battling the longest, that's what's in my heart. Like I said, the one we just talked about is in my blood, but in my heart is Ape Nation. I got involved with this. A lot of folks are like, I guess the whole ape, like what is Ape Nation? Basically, it's a bunch of retail and individual investors. You know, they've got these apps and these processes now where you can go in, you can buy stock in companies yourself, you can do research. And so a bunch of people have gotten together and figured out about these shorts. And basically what it means is a company is betting on, they borrow shares and betting on the fact that the price of a company is going to go down. And as that price goes down, they can basically buy back the shares they borrowed, the money they made off of when they sold it, give it back and make that money, that profit. And so they, you know, you got all these companies like Toys R Us and Sears and all these different companies eventually go out of business. Well, there's a lot of backdoor stuff that goes on as these companies are going down. Well, with the COVID, they figured movie theaters and GameStop, you know, being it's a retail location, was on like life support. I mean, you're talking basically almost bankruptcy, about to be sold out. I think Amazon was going to potentially buy AMC. Well, these people got on board and they said, hey, wait a minute, we can do what's called a short squeeze. We start buying in the stock, the price is going to go up and it's going to force them to cover their shorts and they have to buy at a higher price. And so that's what originally originated with. Well, a lot of us started to get drawn in. Obviously, it was the idea of, oh, we can get into the stock. AMC was pretty cheap. It was down to only $2, $4, $5. I got in at 8 and 5 and 7 and 15 and 30 and 40. But anyway, you could get in. And as I got deeper in the community, I realized, man, these are working class people. When I say working class, I mean, the majority, every one of these people I've got to know, they work every day. They're doctors, lawyers, they're dentists, they're homemakers. They're one of my good buddies is I think an Amazon driver. I mean, there are every sorts of folks that are doing this, and they started buying into the AMC itself and GameStop, and so they buy. And we do the old-fashioned theory: we buy the stock, we hold the stock, like Warren Buffett tells us, and we aren't selling. And it's pissing them off because the problem is we got them caught now. They can't go anywhere. They're going to have to buy those shares back. And so they're just losing money. I mean, millions beyond millions. I think it's a couple billion, $3 billion that these hedge funds, these greedy hedge funds are losing money. And the longer we hold on. And we got over 4.2 million is, I believe was the calculation that own AMC alone. I mean, it's unheard of. You've never had that many individual investors own a single company like that. I mean, we own over 80%. There's probably over a million, I say a million, veterans. There's so many vets in this, that's how I met a lot of them and made relationships with them. And so getting in, I can't tell you to buy the stock. That's a no-no. But what I can tell you is if you get into the community, you get into understanding and investing in yourself and what it takes, you start doing some research. You're welcome to reach out to me as well. I've got a nonprofit that we're getting up and running where my goal is to go out and teach people how to get out of debt, but mainly how to focus on investing back in themselves. And what I mean by that is you have the ability to buy into companies like the rich are doing, but you can do it yourself without having to pay all this money out for fees to hire a broker. You can learn to do it yourself. You can learn to invest yourself. You can grow your portfolios. You can do these kind of things. And it's not that hard. But I know society or government, the rich, the elites, have held us down. They don't teach it in school. They don't teach it to you. Most people, they tell you, oh, you don't want to invest. Let a professional do it for you. They want to keep you scared. They want to keep you down. They don't want you to know because they don't want you messing with their money. And we are. Ape Nation is screwing with their money so bad, it's got them pissed. And that was my war. That's my battle I got in with my apes. And it's phenomenal. My count's gone up. I don't even know. It's insane. It's so much money I haven't seen. And that's just the beginning. And we believe that. Most of the folks in the Ape Nation know how much more there is to go. We've been on a win streak again. It's kind of cool. There's like this little game they play, and then they drive it down, and then now we're back up again, and what we call a leg. So, but man, I have met so many cool folks. It's what's giving me my voice. Like, I kind of sat back and didn't do much until I met this group of people, and it's just been phenomenal. It's got me encouraged to fight back, speak back, help people around me, create a nonprofit, get that going so we can teach people to invest. Because you know what? I am tired inside of watching folks that should be retired having to go back to work at Walmarts and Targets and Home Depots and all these different places to try to make a little extra income to survive. And, you know, they say that there's going to be, I don't know, it was like 50% or 60%. My numbers could be off. Don't mark me. But I read something somewhere that there's going to be a retiree crisis. Like, they're not going to have money. And we always talk about losing Social Security, but you can't. My Social Security, I think, is going to be $1,300 a month when I'm 60, whatever. Who the hell lives off of that nowadays, right? And then we look at the inflation that's happening. So that's kind of like my heart behind it. I want to help change people, and that's because of Ape Nation. I was just a man that moved to Tennessee with my wife that was just going to get away over here and have my little farm and my chickens. And then I found out about this, and I said, wait a minute, this is an injustice to the population. These rich people are getting away with this. They're taking advantage of the stock market. They've been doing it for so long. They're making all this money off of it while we're making nothing off the backs of us, all the working class, and that's who we are. So all the news and all the channels can call it meme stocks or meme stocks and can, you know, make fun of it and try to put it down, because they are. But they know that we caught them in some BS is what's happened. They know that we got them a hold, and they're afraid. So that's kind of, I'm hoping that's a good story. You kind of explain it. You know, to get in, you just got to join us. And a lot of us talk on Twitter. A lot of us talk on Getter now, Telegram. You just start talking to them. I have some links I can send from Reddit, just some stuff you can read. We always encourage you, what we call DD, do your due diligence. That means you read into it and determine through the information that you read, is it something you want to do? Because I don't want to see anybody put themselves at risk. I don't want to see anybody go out and invest something they shouldn't invest. But I do believe everybody can invest something, whether it's $5, $20, or $200. You can do it. It's just up to you.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding, AMC Marine. I've got your Twitter on the scroll at the bottom and below your name. What's your Getter? Is it the same thing? XXX the Marine, XXX on Getter?
So, yeah, yep. You're gonna find me everywhere. I even have a website, XXX the Marine, XXX.com. I got the YouTube channel XXX. I got the TikTok XXX the Marine. I've got the Twitter, the Getter, and the Telegram. I try not to, the Telegram I haven't learned a lot, so I haven't used it much. But I'm pretty much everywhere now, except for LinkedIn. For some reason, I told you they wanted to lock me out.
That's unreal, man.
And I'm pretty sure
that is unreal.
Oh, TikTok. Within 2 hours of opening my TikTok, I posted a picture of us practicing our 2A rights in my own backyard in Tennessee, and they flagged my third post and said it was in violation. And I'm like, in violation? All my guns are legal. This is Tennessee. I'm in my backyard. What was a violation? But apparently, I couldn't share that video. I don't know. But that's
insane.
That's America now, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's welcome to the new America, where our constitutional rights are stepped on every which way but sideways. Hey, listen, I know you got to run. Thanks for joining us, AMC Marine. I can't wait to have another sit down with you where we can get and dig more into the APE Army. And I hope you have a great Labor Day with your family. And Godspeed to you. God bless. And thanks again for coming on.
Hey, absolutely. Clock anytime, man. You want me on, you just let me know. I'll be there for you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care, bud.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, America. Love you, people. All of you.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. AMC Marine. I have to go read a lot of his stuff and join some of his Twitter spaces. They put out a lot of information for free. It's all free. And it's information that you might learn in finance school or economics. Having a managerial finance degree and an economics degree A lot of the things that they're teaching are what you learn in the first year or two in those classes. And these elite, these Wall Street elites, they want you to stay dumb. They don't want you knowing this information. They don't want you to understand how the markets work and liquidity and how options and short selling and long puts and calls work. They don't want you knowing that. It's all part of the strategy, and it's all part of their plan to manipulate the markets. And it's a rigged market. Let's just face it. The market's rigged, and it's rigged in their favor. I mean, all you have to do is look at what happened with Robinhood, right? Robinhood suspends trading so that the big money mutual fund, hedge fund, banks don't lose. And they just completely manipulate and rig the market right in front of your face. And so that's what the APE Army is standing up to. And there's a lot of them. They're on Reddit, and a lot of these guys are very sophisticated. A lot of these people, you wouldn't believe who all is making these moves and educating the masses. These are really, really smart people, and they've done their homework. So with that being said, I've got some more content. And I apologize on the video. I didn't hit the transition screen. To cover the YouTube video, but I'm sure you guys probably heard the audio. And I forgot to change the title.
AMC Marine is Colonel Scheller.
AMC Marine, I am sorry about that. I meant to go do that. We kind of threw this show together at the last minute. But all right, let's get to some of this other content. First of all, I'm going to say it again. Go join Michael Yon's Locals page. He's putting out content that you will not find anywhere else. General McKenzie, this is something that I was following closely. General McKenzie is the commander of SITCOM, and he just straight up lies. He straight up lies. And, of course, Mike Yon calls him out. And I cannot encourage you guys enough to go check out his. All right, so Representative Mark Wayne Mullen. You guys know who this is? He's now speaking out saying, no, I wasn't lost. I wasn't lost in Afghanistan. He's a representative from Oklahoma. He was in country helping Americans get out of the country. And he could not be reached for a period of time. And he says now, quote, I'm heading home, in a post that he made today on his Instagram. He says, quote, we have been helping get Americans out of Afghanistan. The mission is continuing. Am I missing? No. Did I go dark for a little? Yes, because it wasn't safe to be communicating. He then goes on to criticize Biden for how he handled the crisis. Quote, President Biden and administration are absolutely lying to the American people about Americans and our friends being left behind. And this is another thing that I saw today, where text messages from Just the News and John Solomon have now been produced. And let's take a listen to the video.
Just the News now. President Biden declared on Tuesday that the U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan was a, quote, extraordinary success. But text messages between U.S. military commanders and citizens mounting last-minute rescue efforts tell a far different story. In an exclusive Just the News story by John Solomon and Susan Katz-Keating, a series of encrypted messages show U.S. military officials' frustrations and detail the failed effort to extricate a group of American citizens hours before the last U.S. soldier departed Afghanistan. Now, speaking of no man left behind, what about no paw left behind? Animal welfare groups slammed the Biden administration after pictures on social media showed military working dogs abandoned in the Kabul airport during the U.S. evacuation mission. CEO and president of American Humane, Dr. Robin R. Ganser, said she was, quote, devastated by reports that the U.S. withdrawal from Kabul is, quote, leaving behind brave U.S. military contract working dogs to be tortured and killed at the hand of our enemies. And finally, Texas's new 6-week abortion law officially went into effect midnight on Wednesday, and some clinics had already begun turning away patients. Since the middle of last month, Planned Parenthood centers in Texas that provide abortion services stopped scheduling appointments for after September 1st, a decision brought about by the new law which bans abortions as early as 6 weeks into the term. And that's a wrap for today's Just the News Now. To find the latest headlines, please visit justthenews.com.
John Solomon, justthenews.com, one of my favorites. And he's all over it. Text messages from colonels that I've seen myself personally. I think I could probably read them at this point. He says, heck yes, we know we're leaving Americans behind. And he uses an expletive, an F-bomb. So very, very disturbing. Also coming out today was video showing the Taliban mocking our fallen soldiers. They carried empty caskets and coffins draped with American and British flags. And photos have now emerged of Afghanistan and coast holding a mock funeral. And this is enough to just burn a hole through you. Taliban spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid enthused from the Kabul airport, stating, "It is a historical day and a historical moment. The Islamic Emirate wants to have good diplomatic relations with the whole world." Well, good luck. Good luck. You've got video coming out of there as well that shows this. And it's hard to watch. All right, I want to give an update on the dogs, if I could.
Here are the dog crates that have caused such a stir online about the abandoned dogs left behind by the United States military. Well, the dogs were left behind. They weren't all evacuated, but they weren't they weren't in the crates when the Taliban arrived. They're still running around the perimeter of the airport, and the Taliban has contacted animal control, dog control, to catch them. And no, they say they haven't sentenced them to death.
Oh, well, that's good. They're going to use them. I really have no words. Since I don't have any words, I will let Tucker do it for me.
If you love dogs, this will upset you. You've probably already seen it on the internet. A whole bunch of dogs from the Kabul Small Animal Rescue were stranded in Afghanistan after the U.S. military left. Pictures of these dogs are everywhere on the internet. The SPCA has just confirmed that the Biden administration could have evacuated these dogs, but didn't care to. Quote, in the end, the dogs and their caretakers were explicitly not allowed to board military aircraft, and numerous private charter aircraft were not granted access to the airport either. Now, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and so maybe you're thinking, why care about dogs? But if you think about the expense, the effort, the danger that American soldiers have been put into to rescue Afghan citizens, some of whom are not our allies, it does make you wonder, why not the dogs? I've got 4 dogs in my bed at night and no Pashtuns. Some Americans care about dogs. Dafton Akhminovich is the Senior Vice President at PETA, cares about dogs. Dafton joins us tonight. So thanks so much for coming on. There are these pictures that, and there's one, of course, on the screen that are just infuriating, I think, to most normal people in this country who love dogs. Why weren't these dogs allowed on the plane? Was there some good reason for that?
That's an excellent question, Tucker. The reality is we heard from not just Americans, but from former and current employees of Department of State and Department of Defense who were deeply concerned about the fate of almost 200 dogs, not just the Kabul small animal rescue dogs, who of course remain a major concern, but also service dogs, working dogs, bomb-sniffing dogs belonging both to the American forces and Afghani forces. And believe it or not, companion animals belonging to American families who had evacuated and who we are told have since been released onto the streets of Kabul to fend for themselves. These are companion animals who have no survival skills and don't stand a chance unless there is intervention. And that's what we are calling on President Biden to do now.
You know, not every, you hate almost to say this, but not every culture appreciates pets and dogs the way the United States does. And dogs, as you just pointed out, do not stand a chance on the streets of a capital like Kabul, particularly right now in a moment of chaos. They don't take up much room. Again, is there some reason? I mean, it's so transparently cruel and mean. Like, why would you do that? Why would you keep dogs off an airplane?
That's a good question, Tucker, and we don't know the answer to that. We have asked the U.S. government why this happened. We have asked them to rectify it, and we encourage Americans who care about this issue to visit PETA.org and join us in calling on President Biden to interfere now. This is not just about working service dogs. It is about companion animals and animals who were formerly street dogs who were rescued and now have been turned back onto the streets of Afghanistan to fend for themselves and are now again homeless for no reason whatsoever. These are thinking, feeling animals who are terrified. Yeah. And if the U.S. government won't help them, then who will?
It's such a great point. And you know, you always hear people, Obama was always like, that's not who we are. Well, you know who we're not? We're not the kind of people who keep dogs off the plane. We're just not. No one wants to live in that country. I don't. Daphne, I appreciate your coming on tonight. Thank you very much.
Are you pissed off yet? Like we didn't need something else to piss us off. Being a dog owner myself, it's unthinkable to have left them there. And I've got many reports coming from people that the planes weren't even full. The last 3 planes that left hardly had any people on them. And I know we had people that were left as well. We have allies that were left. But the fact that we would leave these military service working dogs in their kennels and then just let them out, perhaps, is what I'm getting at, I believe, that just left them. They're all just roaming around the airport. And the Taliban's going to call animal control. Okay. Yeah, I know what that is. They'll bring all of the M4s that we left them, I'm sure. It just makes me sick. I saw this today. Maybe I won't get taken down for playing this. Let's have a look.
The intel. Is there a rot in our intel agencies now? Because obviously the advice they were giving Milley and McKenzie and Lloyd Austin and the Secretary of State Blinken, obviously it was not even accurate. What is going on with our intel agencies?
Well, remember I came in and they asked me the question about Putin and our intel. And the intel I had was Comey and all of that stuff, McCabe, all of, I mean, you look at that side of it, you look at some of the people at CIA, because I have a great relationship with a lot of the people in CIA, but the people in the top were horrible. And they were saying, who do you trust? Now, we had just gone through the fake dossier and all of the things, and they're asking me, who do I trust? Well, I can tell you some people I don't trust were the people that I was dealing with. The people, when I got there was a rot and a stench like I've never seen before anywhere, in anything. And you know all the players, and you covered all the players better than just about anybody.
Thank you.
And if I'm supposed to be saying, oh, great, they're wonderful, I won't say it. I'm not going to say it. But you do have great people in there. You have some very talented people. But when I got there, they were terrible. They were terrible. They were just terrible, absolutely terrible people. And by the way, where's Durham? Where is Durham? Can you imagine that Durham has disappeared? Let's see what he comes up with. But if he comes up with anything, when I heard they were going to release this during the Biden administration, I said, you got to be kidding. But where the hell is Durham?
That's a good question. I'm not sure where Durham is. Now, another guy that I like is Sam Faddis. He runs andmagazine.com. I highly recommend you guys going and checking him out. And I'd like for you to hear a little bit about what he had to say today.
Kabul airport right now, sir.
Our situation where the Taliban controls entrance to the airport, and we got American citizens who are actually making it through showing their blue passports and making it through the Taliban checkpoints onto the airport, but then being told by the Department of State, our Department of State, that they are not on some list. I guess they haven't filled out the right form, so therefore they can't get in a plane and they can't be transported out. So they have made it through Kabul, escaped from the Haqqanis, passed through the Taliban checkpoint, and now our own government is telling them they won't put them on a plane and fly them anywhere.
Let me ask you, is that for security reasons, is that a smart thing? I take it a lot of the citizens, what I'm hearing is a lot of the American citizens today are people, are Afghani, right? Afghani nationals that are now American citizens. And so there's been this whole security issue about checks and everything like that. Is that a logical thing to do when it's this phase? Because right now you're in retrograde. The principal focus is no more evacuations. The principal focus is retrograde, is actually pulling, was it 4,000? There's a couple of battalions of 82nd Airborne and obviously special operators. Would that be a logical checking to do, to say, hey, look, we got to double check the list. We have to double check this in a security situation like this?
Well, look, we already put thousands and thousands and thousands of Afghans about whom we knew essentially nothing on planes and flew them out. So I think at this point, when you're up against the wall and we're all about to leave, I suspect actually we'll all be out within 24 hours. You put them on a plane, obviously everybody's going to be searched, and we know nobody's carrying something that's going to damage the aircraft. And then if you had any questions about the validity of their passport, then you can sort that out when you get them clear of Kabul. But not throwing them on a plane right now and acting like, you know, we can come back and revisit this 2 weeks from now, it seems to me is bizarre, right? I mean, just make sure they're clean, they're not carrying any explosives or weapons, they got a blue passport, everything looks good, get them on the plane. Also, by the way, the Department of State ought to have the capacity to scan the passport and connect to a computer system and tell you right there whether it's valid or not.
Given your knowledge of the Haqqani network and these other, you know, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, the ISIS crowd that's there, and by the way, they make bigger distinctions than you make. You say, hey, look, it's all one pot of kind of bad guys. What do you anticipate? You know, Michael Yan says, hey, this is going to be really brutal after the Americans leave. How, given your experience in Pakistan and with the intelligence services down there, et cetera, and the Haqqani network, how tough is it going to be for any foreign nationals, any of the NGO people, anybody that worked with the Americans and or worked with NATO or any of the Western companies or allies? How tough is it going to be after 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon Eastern when the Americans finally exit?
It's going to be genocide. The door is going to slam shut. And whenever they want, the internet is going to come down and all connectivity with the world is going to go down, and all foreign journalists are going to be expelled. And then they are going to methodically hunt down every opponent of the regime. They have apparently computer files from our own Department of State listing everybody we trained that for some reason or another weren't deleted. And I know that they've gone into the headquarters of the Afghan intelligence service and they've gotten all that information from there. And as Michael alluded to, we know there are already Chinese technical personnel on the ground there helping them with this. So they're just going to methodically hunt down and massacre everybody. And the distinctions between these groups are, yeah, they're meaningless. All this distinction about ISIS-K blowing up a car bomb the other day, but it wasn't the Haqqanis. ISIS-K basically is the muscle the Haqqanis use whenever they want to rub somebody out but claim it wasn't them. They're the guys that make the hits for the Haqqanis that the Haqqanis then want some distance from, which is, in my opinion, exactly what happened at the airport the other day. ISIS-K carried out a hit for the Haqqanis.
The intel, is there a...
All right, so Sam Faddis is by far one of the leading experts in the intelligence community, 20-year career. You can find his work at anmagazine.com, putting out tons of breaking, behind-the-scenes intelligence reports with his sources. Okay, the last news article that I want to cover today is the lawyer defending 17 alleged Capitol breachers has gone missing. You guys see this story? John Pierce, the attorney defending the 17 clients, has now gone missing. He missed a 24 August court date. Nobody has seen him. Pierce's associate told a judge that he had contracted COVID-19 and was in the hospital on a ventilator. However, Pierce was no longer to be found. Pierce was publicly fired by Kyle Rittenhouse, who, of course, we all know, the young man charged with murder in Kenosha. And so, where's John Pierce? I don't know. Well, that's going to do it for me tonight. I can't believe I didn't update the titles. But I'll go in and edit that and change that once I finish. I want to thank everybody for joining and contributing in the chat. And also remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you get those notifications. I typically only do these types of shows on Monday evenings. Quick programming alert. Labor Day weekend. Monday will be taking off, and I will be back on Tuesday, 6 o'clock Eastern, with my good friend Willis Treekiller from the APE Army. So I'm going to run to the store before that show, get some bananas, make sure I'm all ready. We're going to be talking financial literacy, a little bit about what AMC Marine was talking about tonight on what is the APE Army, how do people get involved, what is all behind it, and what's going on with AMC and GameStop stock. And we'll probably dibble and dabble a little bit into the big hedge fund managers, and particularly, well, I'll just put a little tease. We'll have a big name that the APE Army has their, I don't want to say a target or their sights on, but he certainly picked on them very publicly. And so we will get into all that and more. I've got one last video that I think we all need right now, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you have a great and safe, happy Labor Day weekend with your family and friends. And until next time, I will see you all on Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock Eastern.
Hey, someone said you needed a friend today. All right, someone said that you were down, but you were not out. Someone said that I need to come and speak to you and tell you that you're still in the fight and there's a battle. I'm supposed to come help you fight, so I wanted to tell you to get up. I want to tell you to stand. Come on, put your gear on. We still have a fight to win. I want to tell you that you're in a battle for your life right now, and I want to tell you I got your back. I have your six, and as long as I'm here, you're not fighting alone. I want you to tell you, come on, walk with me. Even if you gotta lean on my shoulder, I'll tell you, I got you, I got you. I want you to keep firing your weapon. I want you to keep shooting, and I want you to stay in the fight, because I need you, and I won't leave you. I'm gonna be by your side the whole time. I'm gonna be fighting, I'm gonna be throwing lead for you. I'm gonna be fighting with you. I'm gonna be there the whole time, and I ask that you just stay with me. So get up, get up.